I love sitting on the porch, especially in the evenings, because of the light that is here. And it's kind of like the parlor for Hydra. Everybody comes down to the porch because it's such a small porch. Then you see people walking by. They walk their children, they walk their wives, they walk their horses, they walk their mules, you know. So it's great. It's great. And if you're home all day, which I had many times, to come out is like television. It's better than television. It's live performance. So I like that a lot. Especially now in the summertime with the soft, hot, warm wind and the light. The light is great because it shines the whole side of the hillside there. Golden light. First of all, you really see people and animals. I mean, where else can you have a wonderful dinner and you have a mule train of 5 or 2 mule train, 10 animals going by within 2 or 3 feet from your table? It's wonderful. I mean, it would be illegal in any other country. But it's just part of life here, which I like. And so I've been here 50 years. 50 years, yeah. Not continuously. I used to go back to California and then come. But for the most part, this is the place where when I left California, I would come to Hydra. My mother's from this island. I have a real attachment to it. She used to tell me things about this island in the summertime when I wasn't in school. I'd sit with her and she'd tell me about her life on this island. And she told me stories that even the Hydrians today had forgotten, which is really kind of exciting. People said, well, you should write all these down. Well, I might do it someday. But things that they've forgotten. Stories during the time that there was a sponge industry here, and the caicos would come from Benghazi, and they'd line up here, and they'd have dried octopus hanging on their lines, you know. And it was kind of rough because they'd come back from Libya, and at night they didn't have much to do except light a pipe. And so there was a lot of, it was rough. The port was a little bit rough in those days. So women didn't come down very often. They'd come down Easter and Christmas and certain days, holidays like the Virgin Mary's on the 15th of August. But it was, you know, and if I misbehaved when I was in San Francisco, because that's where I grew up in Oakland, one time I came home and from high school, you know, and stayed out at night Saturday night. We drank some beer, and she was really upset when she saw me coming in kind of tipsy. And she accused me of smoking something that I shouldn't have been smoking. And I didn't know what she was talking about because she called me hasikli. Hasikli in Greek means hashish, you see. And I didn't know what she was talking about. That was kind of funny. And the other nice thing about Hydra in the summertime, all of a sudden, especially recently, the young people have gotten to be so handsome, men and women. The boys and girls here are so handsome, so different than they were when I first came in 50 years ago. You know, they're more up, they're more stylish and attractive, and I find that really pleasant. I like that.
Yeah,
all these old timers here. Well, old timers are younger than I am, but I call them old timers. They've developed old timers physiques on them. When I was in high school looking for a job, and late, you know, just looking for something, my mother used to always have, she was a seamstress, she liked to sew, because here the women used to learn to sew a lot. And so she used to sew. It was always Vogue and Harper's Bazaar and magazines like that in the home. And I kept looking through them. And I loved looking at the dresses that were being created, the models, you know, the photographs. And I thought, maybe I'd like to be a dress designer. And everybody thought that was not appropriate. But when I got in college one time, I had a summer job window dressing for Joseph Magnan's, which was really in San Francisco, a very youthful store for women, and some things from them. So I was a window dresser for the summertime for this. And I thought it was great, because it was beautiful. You know, you set up this little, whatever you had to do, you know. And it turned out, later on in my life, I had a job. I was asked to do a set in New York for La Mama. A Greek head was doing the No Exit, the Jean-Paul Sartre. And so I did this, my first stage set, and I thought that was so exciting, because the theater there is something else when you're going to the theater, especially when you're doing a stage set and you're watching all the training and the actors and the lighting, and what a difference one light bulb will make. Something can look like a police station or the most romantic little place, you know, depending on the light. You know, nothing else changes. So I thought, wow, light really makes a big difference. Anyway, so it was a very successful set. People clapped when the curtain was open, which is La Mama with Ellen Stewart was really impressed. And then the Piccolo Theater invited them to perform at the Venice Biennale Theater Festival. And she says, Dimitri, I need you to do my sets. And so I went to Venice ahead of time and worked with the Italians, which are just incredible to work with. They're so fast and so good, you know. But getting back to the window dressing, I ended up doing this. It's kind of similar. But the theater is something. It's magical, you know, and that was my first experience of actually working in the theater, behind the scene, you know. And I just loved it. It was great. One of the high points in my career, I felt.